Yep, sorry. That was to avoid the typing. My bad. Um, I'm doing all right, Jose. So this particular game is not, or this particular stream is not going to be really Linux related. Like I'll talk about Linux, but I want to talk about what's going on in the gaming industry right now as a whole. Um, as you can tell, this particular game is since a Cyberpunk Ghost Story. The generic gaming media is losing their goddamn shit because big titty anime woman So, unlike a lot of these guys, I'm actually gonna do this weird thing and kind of play the goddamn game. But hold on, I got to adjust my sound settings. All right. There's rated AO dating sims on Steam. Steam doesn't care. This is this is because people are flipping their goddamn collective shit because. So no, this game's been out for 5 months on Steam. Also, note the other thing that I have a problem with this, but as a release of this particular game, it's on the Switch. It's releasing on the Switch. It's also releasing on the Vita. It's also releasing on other platforms. So my problem with people whining, bitching, and complaining about this particular game is they are saying, oh, well, Nintendo's console is supposed to be family friendly. I love the fact that they totally ignore things like, oh, I don't know, Omega Labyrinth Life, which the whole point is to grow the anime titties on the women in that game, or that there's agony, or that there's doom, or that there's insert other games here. The hypocrisy from the game media is astounding to me. And it bothers the fuck out of me that these people are the ones trying to be holier than thou. You know, the thing I love about the gaming industry is it's open to stuff. Yeah, I know Bloodstained is on Switch as well, but really what it boils down to for me is I just get so sick and tired of all the stupid crap that goes on, and people just complain about it instead of actually trying the shit. I have a great idea. Actually shut up, try it, despite your snubby nose mentality to it, and see if it works for you or not. And if it doesn't, hey, it's okay. Like legit to me, a lot of this stuff is just fucking stupid. You have people being petty about it because it's an art style that they don't like. So therefore, the people that like it are wrong because I'm right by default. Can you say straw person argument, straw man, straw woman, whatever? The whole point is, you know, the video I recently did about this, it compared classical art to this particular version or art style. It's this particular person's preferred art style. Just like it's no different than like the Sistine Chapel or David in stone. The whole thing is it's an idealized version by the artist interpretation. You know, we talk about artist integrity and all the other shit in the gaming industry, but yet the second anybody says anything or does something that steps outside of what the industry views as its artistic integrity, it's a step too far. To which I call the industry a bunch of fucking hypocrites. And yes, this is something I'm passionate about, so you're gonna get a lot of swearing. So if swearing bothers you, step the hell off and go find somebody else who will cater to your ever so sensitive needs, because I do not. So I've already started playing some of this. Yep, I already know how. And see, my favorite thing about all this is that if you don't like it, that's fine. That's totally cool. Do people understand what cyberpunk is all about? Because I think that is lost on a lot of people because of 2077. And it's really not that hard to understand that dystopian future, you are the product. We over commercialization of everything. You have to be perfect. You have to look perfect. You have to be perfect. So in order to do that, you have to alter yourself. Duh. It's not a hard concept to figure out. Unfortunately, that concept seems to fly by most of the fucking gaming press. And it really does irk me.
No turning back now, May.
All right, so this is a comic book type presentation, and over commercialization. Look at that. It's almost like it's cyberpunk. I wish people would get it. I really do. Like, oh hey, look. They complain about a big-titted anime chick. Oh hey, look. Over buffed military guy. I feel like I'm body shamed. Is what I say to that. Guys get it just as much as women. Go look at a cover of GQ. Go look at how much people love Magic Mike. Like, the fucking hypocrisy is fucking absurd to me. Oh, look, hooker. Oh, bad. End of world. And yes, it makes the joke that, oh my god, you know, sex workers. Oh my god, no, hey. If you want to make your living by that particular work, that's your prerogative. Novel idea. Yeah, like, that's the thing, like a lot of these are just stupid. Like, the complaints about this game are so unfounded, it's not even funny. Like, I legit don't think any of these stupid motherfuckers that bitch and whine and complain about this actually played the fucking game, or hell, they even know what fucking Cyberpunk's supposed to be about. The whole point of the Cyberpunk genre is dystopian future. It's not supposed to be pretty. But because of 2077, everyone's like, ah, Cyberpunk's cool. Yeah, it's a cool aesthetic. But the overall message of it is bad. Corporations controlling your life, bad. Government telling you what to do, bad. All of that stuff is bad. And see, the thing is, like, I'll be the first to admit, I bought this game already. I've bought it twice, in fact. And I've bought it... And I've bought this game twice, in fact. I bought it twice because it supported the Vita. It was one of those, you know, I didn't care for the art style personally. It's not my thing. But hey, this is one of the last few games coming out on the Vita, so I supported the dev for it. The developer held back upgrading to newer versions of Unity because he had promised Vita game. Unity had taken out the Vita support. That to me is well worth supporting. If people don't like it, that's totally their prerogative, but it's also my prerogative to basically tell them to go fuck off. It's not even so much Google, it's, you know, governments and everything else. Like, people just don't want to take the time to actually research something before they make an ill-informed opinion on something. At least if you've tried it, looked at it, etc., and actually came to an informed conclusion, I don't fucking care. Don't spread a message of stupidity because you're being willfully fucking ignorant, which certain ones in the gaming media are doing exactly that. I don't like this art style, so I'll turn my nose up at it without critiquing it. You're critiquing the art style. Actually, the ratio changed on that, Paul. Initially, I think it was a 47%. If I was just looking at the metrics, I think it's changed a little. I think it's like 81, 82% right now. But like, legit, the gaming industry and people in it don't know their ass from their elbow sometimes. And like, hey, if you want to come to an opinion, by all means, come to a, you know, conclusion and an opinion. That's your prerogative. But at least be informed on it. Willful ignorance is not an excuse. Well, the problem is it's not even the big gaming media. It's an industry problem. It's the games media side. They preach inclusivity, but then anything that doesn't fit their think tank fucking mentality, as far as like art design and direction, is totally cleaned out. What the gaming industry wants is to be inclusive, as long as you think, act, and do exactly the way they do. Which to me is a load of shit. See, my favorite part is people aren't looking at the aesthetic of the game. Every character is quote unquote over-sexualized. The guy up there in the corner above where May is looking. Fit, tone, shirtless with a jacket. Give me a break. Do I feel offended by it? No. Is it an art style I care for? I'm indifferent. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just love the cyberpunk aesthetic for it. Yeah, we did, and like I said, it's sad, it's pathetic, and that's why I say that I don't fall on either side of that spectrum argument. I honestly don't care. It's not my thing. You won't see me talking about generically politics as a whole. because my politics are really quite simple. Live and let live. I don't have any argument with, you know, a lot of things that others would. And I just don't care. Yeah, it really is. No, the funny thing is like I threw this to David Jaffe because he has kind of the same idea, and he's looking. I was like, hey, he talked on the whole cuties thing for on Netflix. I was like, hey, can you take a look at this? This might be more up your alley. It's cuties for games, basically. And see, fun is to me, fun is relative. I expect this to be more of an old school game, so a lot of the current modern things that I would be used to probably aren't going to be there, and that's totally fine because that's what the developer was looking at. And that to me is far more important than any whining and bitching that people are going to do on fucking other shit. Like, who cares? Ooh, excuse me. And yes, Paul, just for you, this is being played on Linux.
Excuse me.
So I gotta collect these ignits. No, I'm just saying, I know you don't. I'm just saying that they give you a load of crap. And actually, the thing I appreciate is that the developer actually did this Linux build because of me. Okay, so one of the complaints I have is that the UI can be a little kludgy. There we go. So one criticism is sometimes the hit marks for the interaction points are a little off. So you have to be really specific. But oh no, it's a pixelated stripper. God forbid, and it's not even a real one. Note the fact that it is totally a cyberpunk aesthetic. Paul, are you offended by the big bouncing fake pixelated titties of a pixelated holographic stripper that would also be made of pixels? So it's pixels within pixels, so we're talking Inception here. Homie, all I can say is, hey, whatever floats your boat. I'm not gonna care. Not that address. So, for me, I don't see the problem with this game. I really don't. Like, it's story focus is kind of slow, but that's the whole point. It's about building the atmosphere. So Paul, what do you think somebody would do if they like went and played like Dex? Is it because it's a 16-bit game, like art style game, that you can't see the pixelated titties and some of the strippers and shit that are in the game? Like, give me a break. This is so stupid. Oh my god, I hate gaming press. So fucking bunch of hypocrites. Well, of course not, Paul. It was artistically done. Actually, Paul, so like I interviewed this guy a while ago, about a year and a half ago, give or take. And what he actually did, this is actually all 3D, but he put it so like the background is actually 3D art, but the camera perspective is fixed to a 2D plane. So everything's actually 3D. For all of CDP's current flaws, as someone who like I like CDP, like they could have done Cyberpunk like the launch better, but shit happens. Like, if you've been in the industry long enough, like, shit's gonna happen. It's the gaming industry. Um, it really just boils down to understanding that not everything is gonna always be ideal or is gonna launch the right way, etc. Um, as a product, yes, it should have been in the can longer, and that's on them, and that is a valid criticism that they have earned. Yeah, the review, like, there's a problem with reviews. Um, some of CDP's calls, not ideal. The crunch time thing, it's a matter of budget. How much did they spend on? The problem with the gaming industry, and for those that don't work inside of it or haven't been inside of it, the development budget is kind of like the movie making budgets. You have a portion that what it actually costs to make the movie. The problem is what ends up happening is the publishers and whatnot, they end up spending just as much to market the game as they do to make it. So example, Witcher 3, I believe, had a $60 million budget. They spent just as much on that for marketing. The problem is that is not a sustainable kind of endeavor. Like, you can't constantly have that kind of budget for everything. Now, as far as the crunch time thing, so Paul, I know you're over in the Europe specifically, so things are a little different over there. So our perspective over here is a little more skewed. Devs work on a set, like, they're independent contractors, call them whatever you want. They work on a salary. You work as many hours as you need to. I'm salaried. I work as many hours as I need to. Business needs before your own, unfortunately, which is kind of sad, but that's what you sign up for when you get into that industry. Now, you can talk about unionization and all the other stuff, but really, at the end of the day, you willingly signed the contract. So my sympathy is different, as far as, like, my view on it, because my worldview is only one I can only look at from my own experiences in comparison.
Excuse me.
So I like this cool little film grain effect that it makes it look like it's affecting your vision. That's kind of cool. And I do like these, like, comic book style cutscenes. Oh yeah, like, crunch time is total project management failure. But what I'm saying is the whining and the bitching and complaining about it, also at the same time, it's what you knowingly signed up for. So my sympathy is really not there. because you get into it knowing pretty much that's gonna end up happening at some point. So could you say I lack empathy? Sure. But it's also because my own life experience is basically the same deal. You I, somebody's got to suffer sometimes. And as bad as that sounds is somebody makes mistakes, someone suffers. I would totally love to work and not live to work. Um, well, see, here's the thing. Like, if you're full time, if you're doing the typical 40-hour work week that we have over here, most uh, Fortnite is a game. um, what you'll find a lot of the time is most full timers, they get compensated by time and a half. So anything over um 40 hours, they get their base pay rate multiplied by 150%. So if you're making 15 bucks, let's say you're making 15, 16, 18, whatever, take a base rate $10 an hour, you're making 15 now for every hour over 40 that you work. I'm not saying that's the base rate, I'm just saying that's to simplify it. So they get compensated for that. What happens in the gaming industry for salaried people is this is what you make all year, and it's a contract that you sign. So as an hourly, as opposed to a salaried, vast difference. So what you'll find is a lot of people who have been salaried will go down to a full-time position that is by hour that they get paid, so that way if they have to work the overtime, it's going to be at top pay dollar, and then they work the overtime, so the company's paying more to keep them there. So the company's actually losing money by having them there, by making them do that. And in order to maintain that life balance, what they'll end up doing is a lot of these companies will limit the overtime for full timers. And then that gets that because of that management gets, or those that are salaried, that are the middle managers, suffer because they're the ones that have to pick up the slack because they're the ones that sign the contract. It's a bunk system, but it's what we have. So see, one of the things that I like so far is I could have used the bobby pin there or the key, and then I could have used the pipe. I decided to use the pipe instead of the key.
Ugh. What was that?
You're still on lollipop? No, lollipop, marshmallow, whatever came after marshmallow. All right, I'll be back in a second, guys. All right. All right. All right, Key. Thanks for joining.
This could work.
So far, I have yet to see anything that quote unquote offends me from this. I think in typical gaming press fashion, they're making a big hubbub about fucking nothing. So, like, if I'm gonna critique the game, my biggest problem right now is probably the scrubbing mechanic for how you interact, the interaction prompts. It's a little too specific on where you need to be, so there's not enough play. But I know why they do it. It's overlap and all the other stuff, but it's something that I could definitely see being better. See, like right here as an example, you go from here, and if you run, read the notes. Take the keys. We'll do a quick save. So for those complaining about that particular part, you have to press it about 10 times. It's a tropey, cliche horror movie kind of thing. They run from the killer and they're pressing the button at the elevator half dozen times, dozen times. The thinking is going to make it go quicker. It doesn't. So, okay, here's my take on this game thus far. It's I like the aesthetic, like the cyberpunk aesthetic. The art design, I'm not the biggest fan, but it's a choice. Like it's not off-putting to me. On the same note, it's not something that like I'm gonna shit all over. I think it's a choice. There's like any other art. It doesn't matter if current, modern, old, cold, classical, take your pick. To me, the only criticism I really have from the gameplay perspective is that sometimes the detection of the interaction spots is a little too particular. So sometimes having to scrub through them is not the cleanest, the quickest. But aesthetically, mechanically, the game works good. The only other complaint I have is the art style is a choice. So I'm not a fan, but I also don't hate it. Like, whatever. I'm okay with the art style. So for me, it's a good game. I'm gonna play more of it, but this whole controversy over this game is fucking stupid. Actually play the game and the aesthetic does make sense because it's cyberpunk. And the whole point of cyberpunk is you're looking for idealized and how much you can improve yourself with mechanical, like machines and plastic and fake and all the other stuff, corporations and all the other jazz that goes with it. Apparently, those in the games press are just too fucking stupid to realize that. Though there are some that are aware of this, but there are certain publications and places that don't quite fucking get it. And to those who snub their nose at the art style, that's your prerogative. Doesn't mean it makes you right.